Weak minds react to everything. Ruthless minds observe, adapt, and move forward. In a world built to distract, provoke, and control you, remain untouched. The Stoics developed principles that made them mentally untouchable. Today, we break down the 5 rules to forge a mind that cannot be broken. Rule number 1 is the dichotomy of control. It is the foundation of all mental strength and the first step toward absolute freedom. Most people waste their energy fighting things they cannot change. They argue with traffic, with weather, and with the opinions of total strangers. A ruthless mind draws a line in the sand. On one side is what you control, on the other, everything else disappears. You cannot control the economy, the politics, or the malice of others. You can only control your own judgments and your own actions. Imagine a man in a crowded subway, surrounded by noise and chaos, yet his eyes remain steady, his breathing slow and deeply intentional. He does not let the aggression of the crowd dictate his internal state. He is an island of calm in a raging sea. When you stop fighting the uncontrollable, you reclaim massive amounts of energy. This energy becomes the fuel for your most important, decisive actions. Stop asking why this happened to you. Start asking what you can do with what has happened. That is where true power resides. Control your reaction, and you control the outcome. This is the first secret to a mind that remains completely unshakable and fierce. Once you master what is within your grasp, you must prepare for the storm. This leads us to the second rule of the Stoics. Rule number 2 is premeditatio malorum. It means the premeditation of evils. It is the art of anticipating every possible struggle or setback. Most people live in a state of constant shock. When bad news hits, they crumble because they never expected the darkness to arrive. The ruthless mind does not hope for the best. Instead, it visualizes the worst, training itself to meet disaster with a steady hand. Imagine a young architect sitting in a dimly lit study, mentally walking through the possibility of her project being rejected by the client. She isn't being pessimistic. She is building a psychological armor. If the failure happens, she is already prepared to pivot and adapt quickly. By expecting the unexpected, you strip the world of its power to surprise you. You remove the sting of misfortune before it strikes. Fear grows in the shadows of the unknown. When you shine a light on your worst fears, they lose their ability to paralyze you. Prepare for the loss of your job, the end of a relationship, or a sudden illness. Not to be sad, but to be ready. When you have prepared for the worst, you no longer fear the future. You can finally embrace the reality of the present moment. Rule number 3 is amor fati, the love of fate. This is the radical acceptance of everything that happens in your life. It is not just about tolerating bad luck. It is about loving it. It is about seeing every obstacle as necessary fuel. When a business fails or a plan falls apart, the weak mind complains. The ruthless mind asks, how can I use this? Think of a craftsman whose workshop has been flooded. Instead of despairing, he looks at the silt and sees new textures for art. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every tragedy is a lesson in disguise. You must learn to dance with destiny. Amor fati turns you from a victim of circumstance into the master of your experience. You stop resisting life and start riding it. The universe does not owe you a smooth path. It owes you nothing. Your job is to make something beautiful from the wreckage. When you love your fate, you become invincible. Because no matter what happens, you will find a way to make it work. But to love fate, you must realize how precious and fleeting your time actually is. This brings us to our 4th essential rule. Rule number 4 is memento mori. Remember that you will die. This is not a morbid thought, but a powerful tool for living. We live as if we have forever. We waste hours on trivialities, on anger, and on digital distractions that mean absolutely nothing. A ruthless mind lives with a constant awareness of its own mortality. This awareness acts as a filter for every single decision. Picture an elderly gardener tending to his plants at sunset. He works with intensity and presence, knowing his time in the sun is limited. When you realize your time is finite, you stop seeking approval from people who do not matter. You stop chasing empty status. Death is the ultimate deadline. Use it to drive your focus, to deepen your relationships, and to pursue your highest, most meaningful purpose. Do not wait for the perfect moment to start living. The perfect moment is a myth. There is only right now, and it's passing. To live fully in the face of death, you must also learn to thrive in discomfort. This leads us to the final rule. Rule number 5 is voluntary hardship. To remain ruthless, you must regularly seek out discomfort to ensure your comfort does not make you weak. Comfort is a slow poison. It makes you soft, fragile, and easily manipulated by the modern world's endless luxuries and trivial easy wins. The Stoic intentionally chooses the harder path. They take the cold shower, they walk in the rain, and they eat simple, unadorned food. By training your body and mind to endure small hardships, you build a reservoir of resilience for the great hardships of life. When you prove to yourself that you can survive without luxury, you gain a level of freedom that no one can take away. A ruthless mind is not afraid of being uncomfortable. In fact, it seeks it out as a way to sharpen its edge. Dichotomy of control, negative visualization, love of fate, awareness of death, and voluntary hardship. These are the pillars of the unbreakable mind. Which of these 5 rules do you need most right now? Tell us in the comments and subscribe to master your own mind.